Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. It's your girl Sammy with another video. So today we're gonna be talking about the movie Dark Spell. This was released in 2021. I must admit, this movie it pissed me all the way off. Like, you know, the movie is horrible when you can't wait for the main character to die. Like, that's just ugh. Her name is Xenia, and you'll understand why I really hated what she did throughout this movie. So let's begin. So we meet Xenia. First we see her walking down the aisle in this black dress, black veil, black wedding dress, just walking down, and she's surrounded by mannequins. And then you see she walk up to, I'm guessing, her husband, and that's where the movie begins. So just a basic rundown, Xenia is actually a wedding dressmaker, right? And we see her talking to Sonia, one of the bride to be, like, fitting in her dress and whatever. Same time, Sonia, her fiance, comes in and she immediately starts to hide because, you know, bad luck. The husband isn't supposed to see the wife before the wedding, basically. So she's hiding. He's like really nonchalant, and I'm like, this isn't how, you know, like they're not married yet, but you know, a couple who is excited to get married, it just seemed don't care attitude, and it was just kind of, okay, are they in love or not? So Xenia now showed up at her husband's studio because he's a art person, one of those artistic people, just to come home to find him screwing another girl. And then the dude legit got angry because she caught him. He's like, I told you not to come over here without telling me. He didn't even really chase after her, because she just ran off, and we didn't see him following her. So obviously he didn't follow her because he seems to be over the relationship. So she goes home and she's crying to her mom, and her mom is like, you know, it happens. No, sorry, scratch that did not happen yet. So now she's at work and she's crying, and what looks to be her boss, I'm thinking that it's her boss, coming to console her, like, what's going on? And she told her, she's like, oh, you know, that's normal, like, just pretend like you didn't see it and just continue with your life. And I'm like, what kind of advice is that? Girl, I would tell you to move on, not turn a blind eye and pretend like you didn't see. Yeah, you saw this friggin' man cheating on you, your husband at that. Leave him be, like, obviously. Anyways, so now Xenia is at home, right? And she's there, you know, looking through the drawings that he made of her and whatever. And her mom came and they're trying to comfort her, like, move on with your life. And, you know, you can't force somebody to love you. And then the mother said this.
Unless you cast a love spell, of course.
What? Wait, did you just say that? Like, why would you even put that in your child's head? I was like, these people are crazy. And, like, not even to cut the movie, but, like, seriously, messing with somebody's free will is, like, the craziest thing you could ever do. Like, would you want somebody to do that to one of your family members? Like, you claim you're so in love with the person that you're willing to make them become all zombified just to be with you. Because obviously when you fuck with them head, and you'll see why I said this in the movie, like, this movie is a perfect example why you shouldn't fuck with people free will. Like, this shit will turn around and bat you in the ass. So now Xenia with her boyfriend belongings, like, just one bag, and I'm like, this is all she has for her husband's at her house. Anyway, so him come to her house. She showed up at his mom's house, which obviously don't like her. Like, you can't sit look in her eye. They look at disgust. And she's like, here, I'm here to drop this off. And the mom, you know, kind of throw shade. I thought you knew where he was. I thought you always knew where he was. Anyway, she left there and she went back to the studio. And he was there with his fling. He's like, oh, I need to cheat in order to be artistic and shit. So when she went over to the studio, and she's like, she's going to forgive him. Let's just pretend it never happened and continue with her life. And I'm like, girl, do you not love yourself? Like, your self-esteem is, like, way down there. Like, this fucking, yeah, he's it's kind of cute. I'll give you that. But it's not worth more than you. Like, love yourself, not love your daughter, so because they have a kid together, like a really young baby at that. I was like, guys, like, some men really are shit. So anyways, they started to fight.
You think you own me because I got you pregnant?
Get off, idiot!
Like, she busted his nose. I think, yeah, she busted his nose, and he took up a tissue, and not a tissue, a handkerchief, and wiped his nose and flung it at her, and then walked away. And then he's like, from a that I was like, yeah, she got his blood. This girl is going to do something that she obviously regrets, right? And so said so. She went to a Obia woman place. Again, well, they call it a gypsy house, whatever, but a Obia. So she meet the lady, and she was telling her, bro, do you love him? And say, yeah, sure, because this spell that I'm going to do, the spirit, she used spirit, right? It feeds off love, pure love, and you don't want to mess with the spirit, because if you do, he is going to come back and have revenge. So make sure this love is pure. Then she said, if you have anybody getting married, and she said no, but she said you need to find somebody who is getting married, right? And you need to perform this spell, this ritual at that person's wedding. And I'm like, bitch, you gonna come to my wedding, come perform a freaking ritual? Girl, this is why you shouldn't invite anybody. But again, how you gonna know like this is their true intention, right? So it ended up that they chose, you remember Sonia from earlier, the wedding, the girl whose wedding dress she was fixing, their wedding was the one that she's going to do the ritual act, right?
Come back. If he doesn't, don't expect anything good. Blood will make the spell stronger. Cast it until the meat's spoiled.
So the wedding started, right? And from the first off, you see the Sonia, her ex-boyfriend, is at the wedding, and I'm like, yeah, this seems like trouble. My girl is there with all her stuff. So during the wedding, no, she upstairs in the church at that, and I'm like, gonna brave as fuck in a church. So they start the wedding, and she's there lighting the thing, starting to read the words for words. And then because the lady did end up cut her, because she said, you know, you bind this with blood, and she dropped it on his blood. Remember the kerchief when she sucked him in his nose? So she's there dripping the blood right onto the handkerchief, right? And she's saying her ritual. And then to finish off, she had to eat this piece of raw meat that the lady had given her, that she had for a couple of days. Well, so it was starting to basically rot, and she ate that. And I'm like, do I have to do all of that just to keep a man, just to make a man love me? I'm going to eat raw meat, I'm going to cut myself, I'm basically giving my soul just to keep this man. I am saying an incantation that I really don't know what it is about, what it's going to do, just to keep a man. God, please don't let me ever reach that state in life, you know. So the wedding done now, and everybody, you know, the bride and the groom walking out, and everybody's happy, cheering, throwing the rice and all that nice stuff. And my girl started to feel sick, Zenia, and chose to faint right at the people them. Victor, that's the Sonia's husband, the doctor, he's actually a doctor. He's the one who brought Xenia to the hospital, and he's like, they had to put drip on her and all sort of stuff, more likely because of the bad meat in them. But who cares? Like, Xenia, like, girl, anything you get you take, because you deserved it, basically. So she comes to, and she's apologizing, saying, you know, she didn't mean to do that thing, like, rest well. And straight off the bat, I didn't like the way you looked at Xenia. I'm like, dude, didn't you just get married? Like, I don't see you look at your wife like this. I've never seen you look at your wife like this, the way you're looking at Xenia right now. So while Sonia is there crying, because she said this is a bad omen, why this stuff basically happened on her wedding day, which is freaking true. there comes her ex-boyfriend, and he's there trying to comfort her, and she's telling him no. And tell me why this girl end up in like a closet with this dude and make her husband confine her. Like, girl, this is on your wedding day. Like, you start cheat on day one. It was like, she was apologizing, saying it's not what it looks like. Like, girl, this man dude was up under your dress. You were exchanging saliva. I mean, what else could it look like, girl? So no, this is where all of the crazy stuff starts to happen. So Xenia is laying in the bed because she's still in the hospital. They had to keep her overnight, and she woke up to the window of her room, the hospital room, being open, and there was like a footprint there. There was a footprint on the freaking wall to her room, the hospital room. And then she went to close the window. When she looked to the side, there was her husband, and
You were in my dream, calling me. It was strange. I spent the rest of the day thinking about you. You were right. We should be together. We'll get through this. Forgive me?
so she well glad now, you know, she no question like, why the fuck did you just break into the hospital? Nothing like that. And why did you jump through the window? Nothing. She's like just so happy. But I'm like, okay, well, this is what you wanted, right, girl? And then start kiss and suck her tongue and all these gross things, and him lift her up and bring her out in his arms, like, you know, those fairy tale movies. So she feel on top of the world now, you know, guys. And he brought her home, well, back to his studio on his motorcycle, the same motorcycle he had the girl on before too. And then they fucked, like, really, really, they did the nasty, like, passionately too. So now she get a call from her mom. Like, when did she get a call from her mom saying, because they seem to have a storm and one of the windows was broken, so she said she'll come down and stuff to help out. And so when she reached there now and him board up the window, Xenia suggested that her mom come up with her to her home to stay with her. And then him instantly looked like the annoyed look, like, you know. And then the mom's like, no, I don't want to intervene. And she's like, no, you need to come, like, stay here while all the fixing is being done, right? So while she went back to the other room to check on the baby, the boyfriend, I should probably, I don't remember his name, like, his name just wasn't sticking in my head. So the boyfriend, even looked to the mom like all annoyed and like, yeah, you'll be inconvenienced, you know. And the daughter came around, she was like, you know what, I think I'm gonna stay home, it's not that bad. Which honestly it wasn't that bad, like, for her to need to come there too, but it was just the friggin' tone, like, I can't come stay with my daughter. And she even suggested, you know, like, because she realized like the danger, that she picked up some, like, her mommy's senses were tingling, and she said to Xenia, why don't you stay here with me, why don't you and I don't remember the baby name, the baby come and you and the baby just stay here with me. And then they instantly got freaking angry, like the look in his, if looks could kill, the mother would have just dropped dead right there, right? But she's like, no mom, I can't, I have stuff to do. So obviously he won, he got her to himself. So anyways, they left and went home. The mommy didn't warn her daughter basically that, yeah, I think your husband is kind of psycho, and what he said to me, she kept that to herself, which is weird. So the baby started crying during their look of love time, and like he got that look again, that angry look, like, dude, it's your child, but it's like the child is in his way, and the baby's getting in between him and his Xenia. So while she there with the clay over her face, him trying to stay put him will deal with the baby. It's just to find out that him throw a sheet over the stroller, and that seemed to have quieted down the baby while him continued to do his little nasty to his wife. So back at the wedding place now, we already know that Sonia and Victor, that's the doctor, had already broken up because she cheated on the man the same very day that they got married. So we see her at the place now trying to return the dress. I am guessing that Sonia decided to marry the doctor because the doctor had money, right? That's the only sense it makes to me, because they didn't seem like somebody who were in love with each other. So they're letting her know that they can't really take back the dress, and if they do decide to do a refund, it would have to go back to Victor because a theme credit card used. So by now, cause Xenia starting to hallucinate, right? She's seeing stuff. I'm not even gonna say hallucinating because she was seeing friggin' things. This spirit has been showing up himself, like getting her to feel scared and stuff, having stuff touch her and pull on her and shit like that, basic horror movie stuff. And the same part where she got the cut when the lady slit her hand, like that shit is hurting her like crazy. So after she realized that she's starting to feel pain, and she realized the marriage that she did the spell based on is not working out, so she automatically thinks yeah, maybe the spell not gonna work now, because everything failed. And so when she went home now and she realized her man wasn't there and the baby wasn't there, she started to panic. She run go to him studio because she expected probably see him cheating like the last time, just to come in to see like sculptures of her face, like little mask everywhere of her face, and like chills. Like, girl, do you not see what the frig is happening? Like what you did to this poor man. This man is like, him can't think about anything else but her. That's just wrong on so many levels. Like, Xenia, you're a real wicked bitch for doing something like that to somebody's son. So she heard the baby crying, right? And she run over to pick up the baby, and there comes the husband, and he's like, what's wrong? And she's getting angry because like, how long you left the baby here by yourself crying? And he's like, and then she said to him, don't you love me and the baby? And he's like, I love you. That's all he said. He's like, I love you. So like, fuck that kid. The only thing in business, bro. Like, as far as to him, that kid is in his way. Him just want you, just like what you wanted, right?
Sari, see, I don't want to share you with anyone. Please don't leave me like that again. Stay with me.
I'm yours. But I'm not your property. I can't live like this.
You're my wife. You must.
I'm not your wife.
Please. Sorry, I didn't mean to scare you. I just... There. Forgive me.
Always heard cases like that where the man, when after a female has tied the man to her, right? It's like him want to leave and him can't leave. So him will there beat the shit out of you and then keep apologizing because there's nothing else in his mindset but you, but him keep hurting you, but him still love you. It's just crazy. And that's why in most cases when females do stuff like this, they always end up hurt. The man always either killing them because they beat the crap out of them, because these men sometimes don't love them, but they can't leave. If somebody's for you, they're for you. There's no need to be tying them to you. Stop playing with people's will. So now the next day, Xenia is at work and he's calling her saying, hey, your mom just got the baby, why don't you come over, let's go out for lunch. And she told him no. And so that's not a good sign. But anyways, same time the doctor came in, right? And he's like, what's happening with his card? And they're letting him know that's his ex-wife. Sonia, I tried to return the dress, and he's like, okay, let her keep the dress and just give her the money, no, he's like, keep the dress and just give her, Sonia, the money when she gets back here. Because, I think he cares about her somewhat, but it's obvious that they don't love each other. There was some compromising going on, and they definitely didn't love each other like that. So, Xenia started to hallucinate again. She started to see the freaking spirit, right? He's showing up now because obviously he's freaking mad. You lied to me, bitch, and I want what I'm owed, right? I did what you wanted, and then your offering sucked because you didn't hold up your end of the bargain. He gave me basically his fake love, and I didn't want that. So he's going after, he's showing up himself or herself, whatever it is, self, to her, pulling on her. So she's starting to feel sicker now, and she almost passed out. And the doctor saw this and helped her as usual, because I don't know what I'm to him and him savior complex. So while he was there bringing her out to his car, he was taking her to the hospital, she noticed her boyfriend car. And then
Kirill, stop!
Who the hell are you?
Enough! I said stop!
So doctor and husband a fight over this girl. I mean, Xenia, girl, I don't know what is it about you, but these two men fist fighting, and like the doctor that beat the shit all the time. Like he end up like slap the doctor in his nose, I think, or in his mouth. Somewhere here said it a bleed, right? But they fought, and the doctor like held him in a chokehold until his limbs got weak, and he's like, "You're done? You're done?" And he's like, "Yeah, I'm done." And so come and release him. Then the doctor took some gauze out of his car, like took off piece to wipe this area, and just gave him to wrap his arm. And basically like, yo, she was sick, and I was taking her to the hospital, and he just drive off and left them there. And he was like apologizing. He's like, "I don't know what got over me. I don't like seeing you with other people," and blah. And I'm like, God, it just pisses me off what she did to this guy. So no, somebody know he offered to basically, you know, try to fix it. Like, let me take you to her mom to go pick up her daughter, right? Paulina, that's the kid's name. Let's go pick up Paulina. So they're there riding on his bike, and I'm like, you took the bike, how the baby dog go up? And you can't do that, right? That would be, is that safe? Anyways, so he's there riding, and then she realized that they're not going in the direction of her mom's house, and she's like, "Where are you taking me?" Him basically ignored her until they reached the destination, which was his mom's house, right? I remember said the man didn't like her, like she not like Xenia. And now looking at it, she had all the reason to not like Xenia, because Xenia was basically the worst thing that could have ever happened to her son, right? And what it seemed like, it was like their only child at that. So, you know, rich upper class people, and Xenia didn't seem like she came from money. So I guess they did look down on her for that, right? So now they're at the dinner table, and you know, the mom is all sassy and stuff, and him keep looking at Xenia, like, you know, I think it's time that you should be my wife. And she was like, I'd like to think about it. So the mother laughed and like, think about it. And he's like, she can do whatever she wants. And he's like, everything the mommy tried to say negative about Xenia, it pissed him off. She's like, "Yo, mom, I want the ring." You know, I said, "Yo, obviously." So he said, "I need the ring." And she's like, "No, this has been like, you know, a family thing, and I'll only give it to the person that I approve of, and I give my blessings." So him go over there, and he took his mom's hand in his and kissed it before he took up the scissors and legit just clipping off her finger. Yeah, clipping off her finger. And just took off the ring. So she started screaming. The dad come. I tried to fight, and the son came in. The dad's a big man, up in his age, right? Silver fox, whatever you want to call it. And he kicked the dad in his stomach, and he walked over to Sonia and go down on his knee. He's like, fuck, what's going on behind me, Xenia? Like, this is the moment right now. Okay, just focus on me. Like, don't pay attention to my mom bleeding and one finger less. Like, psh. Him got on his knee and like, will you marry me? Will you marry me? Like, we did put the ring on her finger too, you know. So the dad realized, like, something is wrong. Like my son is psycho and took something and no, I'm never knock him out with something. I actually like wrestled him to the ground and tell Xenia to run, which she did. She ran off, and he was there. I think it was chasing after her, if I remember correctly. So by now because him catch her up at the gate, you know. So by now she realized what she did was backfiring on her, right? Because all him kept reminding her, you know, like, you are mine and I am yours. Like, this is what you wanted. Like, him keep reminding, isn't this what you wanted? Which, girl, isn't this what you wanted? Huh? So by now, you know, she basically admitted to him, like, this is not you. You don't really love me. I placed a spell on you, and this is why you felt this way. This isn't real love. You don't love me for real. And he's like, what are you talking about? Crazy. How could you put a spell on me? And like knocked her out. So by the time she came to, she was in the bathtub, covered in clay. Like, he was trying to make her into basically a mannequin. I think I've heard a true crime story about that, you know, with the guy who went and digged up it wasn't even his girlfriend, digged up this lady that he was harassing body and basically mummified her and had her at his house for years before people realized that it was her. Yeah, so she woke up, right, and she's covered like stiff in the bathtub because this thing was starting to, you know, what the fuck you call that, it was starting to harden, right? And when she looked over, she's trying to dare to, you know, free up herself to, you know, allow her body to be able to move again. And when she looked over, there was this freaking crazy man pouring the same thing on the baby. The baby's there bawling, and then him look over and he's like, oh babes, you're awake. So them end up tussling. She licked him them edges, some not knocking him out. I don't know why she didn't just knock his ass out, but she just hit him dropped down. She grabbed the baby and she ran, and she started to run. He was chasing after her. She ran out in the middle of the road. Luckily, it was another lady who saw what's happening, and she jumped in the car and was driving. He's there riding on his motorcycle, banging on the window and shit.
What the hell are you doing?
Yeah, so he's there banging on the window, trying to tell her to pull over. And this lady, yeah, she's basically a man hater, and she's there driving and, you know, doing some of the crazy turns and stuff to kind of lose him. And then there was like this intersection, but she was going straight directly towards it, and then just at like last minute she just did a swerve to the right, and he ended up just driving straight, you know, like that's what happened. So let's say the next day now, and she's at the doctor's house, and I'm like, girl, what the fuck are you doing at the doctor's house? Like, you're not that close. There must have been somebody else. Like, you've been living there, I would probably say for all your life, right? What are you doing at the doctor's house? Like, that didn't make any sense. Like, it wasn't clicking. Like, what? Girl, why are you at this man's house? Like, you have your mom. Why didn't you go to your mom's house? Why was the first thing you thought of was I should show up at the doctor's house? Isn't that like, you know, crossing the line? Like, isn't there, you know, there's just some steps you shouldn't do? It was just giving too much. It was just doing too much. She was just doing too much. And I'm like, you continue to involve other people in your mess that you created. Your crazy ass husband is after you, and you're going to endanger somebody else. I think she's selfish, and she got what she deserved. I'm not gonna lie. Oh, by now, the next day we realized that it must buy her diapers and food formula for the kid and whatever. And he's like, you know, you can stay as long as you want. And I'm like, what? So by now we know that the husband is dead, right? Because we saw when him drive straight into something. So the doctor showed up at the hospital, and him did end up in the elevator with the dead body, and he remembered the gauze that was on the hand, and he looked on the face and realized that it was actually him. So when he did go back home now, and my girl Xenia started to, she thought she thinks that him did reach into the house, but it was actually the spirit showing up itself in the form of her husband. So when she said the doctor now, she was like, he's in here, and he's like, no, that's impossible because he's dead. And she's like, what? So him bring her to the hospital to basically see the dead body.
You ready?
Yes.
Girl, you cause this. You call the people them nice son for dead because you're selfish and think you deserve for having in your life. She asked them to leave the room. And if you ever see how this nice dude, if you ever see how the man face, like him can have a home casket. Like I don't think any construction or face construction could have fixed back that, because there was like this big gap. Girl, I swear if I was the mom, I would hate her for the rest of my life. Like, I would hate you for doing this to my dad. There is no forgiving for what you did to my son. And then, for make it worse, the mom thinking about it, to remember that that's the last memory she had of her son, like him legit mutilating her body for a ring, like acting a way that she probably had never seen him act before. You know how hard that is? Like, looking, like, they didn't show any of that in the movie, but I'm guessing, you know how hard that must be for a mom to see that, or to remember that. Because the mom obviously didn't die. So now, she in the thingy with him, and she talked to him and, like, and apologizing for what she did. And it's like, him come back alive. And grab her ass in a little freezer thingy and just pull her in with him and lock the door. So she there banging, and he's there, you know, slowly coming up to her, but she managed to escape and drop out back and shut it. And I'm like, you caused all of this. Like, you deserve all the haunting that you're getting. Like, you wanted him even in death, you should have him. And this is where I continue to say, the doctor guy is way too invested in this girl. Like, you barely know her, but I guess that savior complex is strong in him. It's like that guy, him just have to be there. I don't know why. Him end up following her to the Obi-Wan house, right? And again, sir, why don't you go home? You don't have people to save at the hospital. You don't have nothing else to do with your time. So no, you know, because remember, I said them there, the Obi-Wan house, and she's letting Xenia know that this is her fault. She basically fucked up because she promised the demon. She finally admit that it was a demon. Like, before, she's been saying spirit, no, bitch, you know what you did? She summoned a freaking demon, because apparently she the Obi lady, she owed the demon some souls, like a lot of stuff. She owed them, so she thought she could pay back the demon with pure love, and she was hoping that this one thing that she did would have been enough to fix all the fucked up thing that she did before. So she's like, yeah, he wants back. She's like, no, the demon wants basically your soul, because you basically fucked him over. You promised him something that you didn't have, and now he want way more. And she's like, is there any way to fix this? And she's like, I don't know, we'd have to ask him directly. So she's like, how we did that? She's like, we have to go use the doctor here. You stand up on the outside and let me use the doctor. Which him, the kind of, you know, he was a bit, because he never believed it, because he wanted to leave, but she begged him to stay, and he did, obviously. So So by now she said her incantation and shit, and the damn demon possessed the doctor, like legit speaking through him. Yeah, she started speaking through him. So while Xenia is outside, she sees another lady. She sees another OB lady, and she disappears. Like she saw her for a brief second, and then like the curtain blocked her view, and then she was gone. So she heard the doctor speaking, obviously in a tone that wasn't him, and she went inside, and he's like, yeah, basically I got his soul already, now I want yours because you definitely messed up, and I want what is mine because you promised me something and I didn't get it. So girl, give me a soul. So him, the demon in the doctor's body, smashed the window, right? Pick up one of the pieces and get ready to, like, he's going to cut the doctor's, right? She went and jumped in, but that was like obviously a trick because he wanted her and not really the doctor. So when he was there trying to stab her, the same lady that she saw outside came in and with her staff used the stick and started to basically push the demon out of the doctor's body, and that's how basically they were saved that day. That little old lady, like, she kicked ass. So after the doctor did come to him, actually started cuss her, and I'm like, I know you thought be like, you have to stay far from this girl, and make her know so this is actually her fault. She's the reason why the guy is dead. You're to blame, which is true. She needed to hear that, right? She really needed to swallow that hard big pill. Like, girl, this is your fault. So him saying no one off to do with her after that, which we all know is bull. So Xenia was asking the same older lady, the older lady, how she can fix this, and she's like, basically what you need to do is basically redo back the wedding. All the persons who are involved, you need them to come back there willingly and then perform the ritual in reverse, and that's like the only way you can basically break what has been done. So, you know, she had to go and convince the doctor, which she did. So the doctor went back to the hospital, right, just to come and see Sonia and her ex-husband and her ex-boyfriend there, like, talking. And she's like, it's not what it looks like, which it wasn't, because the ex-boyfriend was there. Like, Sonia was sleeping and he came there and covered her, and she's like, no, you can't be here. And he's like, why are you continuing to do this? Because we know you don't love him, you don't love the doctor, like, why are you doing this? So same time the doctor come in and like, he want to talk to Sonia, and that's how it happened. He basically giving her the rundown, and Sonia, which rightfully so, said like, why should she help her? Like, this is all her fault. Like, why the fuck should I help her? So she stormed out, and she think that she saw the ex-boyfriend, but it wasn't him. It was actually the demon showing up himself in the form of her ex-husband, and then, like, him trying to kill, like, him push her down to the ground, and she started screaming, and that's when the doctor came in, and that's when she realized that she was there by herself on the ground. So that's how she agreed that, okay, it's either she's going to help, or this shit can actually affect her, can actually kill her too, probably her ex-boyfriend, because this thing is not going after everybody involved, especially the two people them that get married, which is so friggin' unfair. Like, you showed up to my wedding, you ruined my wedding, you did a friggin' spell and make a pact with a damn demon that I didn't even have nothing to do with. Like, why the fuck am I being haunted because of this girl? I swear, I don't know why Sonia never bitch slap her. So now they're at the church to perform back the ritual in reverse, and the old lady was there because she's actually the lead person now, because her daughter, the first old lady was actually her daughter, right? Just if I never said that before. So now she's there, and them started the ritual, and she's like, everybody's here of their own free will, right? Because if anybody is not there of their free will, it wouldn't have been, you know, the ritual would not have been like that word is not coming, but you know what I mean, right? So now they start the ritual, and she started in church too, you know. I was like, y'all don't scared of God though. So they started to do their foolishness, and the demon possessed it didn't possess her. Yes, it possessed Xenia. She started to levitate, right, and stuff. The old lady beat it out hard, and it actually went into Sonia, right? It went into Sonia's body, and she started to talk in that weird voice, and then the old lady tried to beat it out of Sonia, but it was actually stronger this time, right? And the stick that she had, she took it from out of the old lady hand with her mind. Obviously the demon took it out of the old lady's hand with its mind and broke it in half and impaled the old lady with it, which this old lady is such a badass, because she literally pull it out and continue to say her little spell thing and got the demon out of her. But then after she did that, you know, Sonia started to speak in Xenia's mother's voice, and that's how we knew that the demon was actually trying to get to her mom. Like, it was there because the baby was missing, because what she said in her mom's voice is like, Xenia, where is the baby? I cannot find her. And then it was like, shit, we need to go, because the demon realized that, okay, since I'm not getting anywhere here, I need to lead her to where I have an advantage, because they are obviously have an advantage there. So they made their way to the mother's house, right, just to realize that yes, in fact, the baby is not there, the mother isn't there. So them figure out, say, where else, them try to figure like where else it could be, and then it kind of clicked to her at the studio. So she rushed there, she and the doctor, as always. Them just, she told them rush go over back to the studio, his studio, because by now, you know, the thing has already taken up a shell of the dead husband, her dead husband, right? So by the time now them reach at the studio, I hope you're following, you know. By the time they reach back at the studio, they found the mom seated, her head was down, and she was nailed down to the ground, right? So Xenia, I hope I said that right. Yes. So Xenia was there digging, no, not digging, she was looking around for the baby when she heard like a little, you know, the baby noise. And then she realized that the mother was actually right beside the baby. So like, who was that person nailed down to the ground, right? And that's when he realized that, like, the doctor realized that it wasn't actually the mother, but actually the demon used. So she took out the baby. She took out the baby and ran out. She didn't scream out to warn the doctor. She just took the baby and her mom out, and they ran. So the doctor there fight for him life, and I'm like, sir, you are risking all of this for somebody who could even scream and say, hey, Victor, that's not my mom, it's actually the demon. Nope. My girl selfishly ran out. But while he was there and the demon had him choking out the life out of him, she came in and shouted like, stop. You want me? You can have me. Right? Just leave him alone. And the demon dropped the doctor a groan. And she went and she kissed him. Yeah, she kissed him. So obviously there was some little love thing going on between them. Yeah. So she kissed the doctor, and then she walked over to the bathtub that had like the molding thing in it. And she sat in the bath and allowed it to cover her. And that's how she died. Which I'm so happy about. Like, you deserved it, right? You deserve to die. I'm sorry. You made your bed, no lay in it. like again I said, they made the main character so unlikable. Like I can't say I feel any remorse for her. To basically love somebody more than how you love yourself, you're willing to sacrifice yourself, sacrifice your soul, sacrifice your life for a man. Girl, the better. And you put so much people's lives in danger, not only your mom, your child, the doctor. You kill somebody all because of your selfish love. Like, people, again, please, if the guy don't want you, if the girl don't want you, just leave them alone, no? Stop doing love spell on people. Like, it never ends well. I am seeing so much TikToks about people telling you how you can tie your man down to writing his name in this, to sleeping with name on your pillow, putting drops at your... Stop all of that. If the guy is for you, it'll be for you. If the girl is for you, it'll be for you. Stop messing with people free will. Like, it doesn't end well. Anyways, that was the movie, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please leave a like. Don't forget to subscribe. Follow me on all my social medias. And until next time, bye guys.